the 4, let's boogie some more. Grab it on the 1, slap it on the 2, grab it on the 3, put it on the 4, let's do it some more.
cercare qualcosa, 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 qualcosa. S'asciutta e gara, qualcosa, è una cosa, qualcosa, una cosa, qualcosa, una cosa. Si asciutta e gara, cercare qualcosa, 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 qualcosa. Si asciutta e gara, qualcosa, è una cosa, qualcosa, una cosa, qualcosa, una cosa. Stann Fore, Stann Fore, Stann Fore.
So we got there in the end. I'm delighted to welcome to the Mellotron, fresh from their hotel, I imagine, Massimo Lucio from Nu Guinea. Welcome, well, not from Nu Guinea, from the band Nu Guinea, but welcome to the Mellotron, guys.
Bonjour à tout le monde, bonjour.
Ah, tu parles français?
Oui, un petit peu.
Ah,
No, no,
But
but I think
it's
maybe
better
we-
it's better
we-
if we
we
do the
can speak
interview in English.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good.
exactly.
Hey, well, thank you so much for taking time out of it's almost like a 2-day residency at the New Morning. So thank you for coming down.
Exactly.
And,
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, no, pleasure. You brought some music with us. But first, I wanted to ask both of you. It's one thing I ask normally all my guests when people guest on the Mellotron. What are your first memories of music? Like, when you were a child, what was playing at home? What were your parents listening to? Like, where did it
I
start?
think we should split this answer into parts. So Lucio would start first.
Okay, I remember my mother was putting some bossa tuna stuff and tried to emulate. She was playing guitar, but she was not a professional player, and she was trying to emulate those bossa nova sounds. While my father was more into classical music, which I was hating back then,
Right.
because it was this piano super loud, like woo. Then I'm starting reappreciating again now, but at the beginning was so I was more into the Brazilian mood and more into like the jazz. Then
So it's almost like you have your father to thank for maybe the theory side of it, and then maybe your mother for more the creative, expressive side.
exactly.
Okay. And Massimo?
Regarding me, actually, I don't remember, like particular moments of music at home because my parents were loving music, but they wouldn't play a lot of it home. And but what I can remember is that my side of the family from my father was very involved in the theater scene in Naples. So what I can say is that even unconsciously, because I was a bit of a rebel kid, I remember everything they would show me, I would be like, no, I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I wanted to just follow the moods, the new trends, But I definitely think that unconsciously I got kind of inspired somehow from the side of my family, of my father, which was in the theater scene in Naples, and my uncle was working also with Edoardo De Filippo, which is actually one of the artists we took the lyrics from for one of the songs for the album as well. But I mean, this is not a connection, but definitely I think that back then this was somehow like helping the artistic direction of my life.
Right. And the album, you hinted on the album just now, but Nuova Napoli, you didn't revisit it, but I guess you'd had made an album together already, but then the whole thing about this album was going back to Napoli, and taking some influence, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what we love to do always is to take inspiration from that period of time all over the world, actually, where like cultural encounters would give birth to some music hybrids, which then gave birth to zouk music and to even bossa nova, MPB, and Naples. There was, for example, Pino Daniele and Napoli Centrale. They were one of the first who would melt Neapolitan lyrics with Neapolitan dialect.
Yeah,
which
so
is
not even
which is-
Italian,
It's not Italian. It's different
Southern
thing.
Southern.
With music from all over the world, and Naples has always been, like a kind of center for cultural encounters, and this is probably, like the main thing of Nu Guinea, to melt many different genres into one thing. And we thought, we were missing Naples, and we thought, let's take inspiration from our hometown. And we were living in Berlin, and we were like, we definitely have to do something like that. So Pino Daniele definitely is an inspiration, and many other artists from back in the 70s also helped, like to create this new thing.
Excellent. We just heard Stann Fore from the album.
Yeah.
And you brought some influences with you, and this was influences that it just happened to be things you were listening to when you were making the album, or this is like consciously, like you were like sitting down and write, this is wonderful music. How was it? How did these influences come about?
Mainly, the thing was we were working on the Tony Allen Experiments, the last album we did, and it was quite a hard work. So we said, okay, let's just stop for a minute and let's just start something new, but something not related to making a record, like with the precise idea of making a record, just jam session with friends, trying to, as Massimo said, we were really missing Naples, so we said, okay, let's do a jam. And the first one was Stann Fore, because was this kind of a proto-rap idea where, we tried to rap in Neapolitan, as we were like the kind of band that didn't know that rap was existing, they just were talking on the music. And so this was the main thing, but then after a few months, the track was still nice. And there's also this funny episode because Massimo converted the tracks in 96 BPS, like KBS, like this kind of lo-fi quality, and he sent it to his girlfriend, Flavia, and he said, this is Neapolitan obscure band from Napoli, from 70s, you have to listen. And she said, wow, amazing, we have to contact those guys, they're still alive. And then, then we say, no, it's us. Okay, and then from that, we started to build a precise concept on that. Let's do something related to Napoli, to our hometown. Let's put all our main influences and try to do something that was, of course, something really deep and that lasts like 2 years or something, maybe more. Yeah.
And actually, like you said of influences, and as Lucia said, like we had like those different influences from back in the 70s, and this proto-rap thing was happening in Naples because artists that even didn't get any success were doing this weird music like funk with this vocoder and very easy metric, like rap. And one of these is called Don Nanna, and we actually used the track for the compilation we also compiled called Napoli Segreta Volume 1, which we compiled with other people from Naples, and it's basically all obscure music from Naples. And we brought this song called Non c'è sta niente fa, which is on the record as well, but I think it's worth like playing it because it gives an idea of the idea of Stann Fore.
Sure, yeah, let's give it a go. I think it's there.
Stai tornando a faticare, te vedi che tu vedi che mi viene a pomagare. Solo sciulciulate, sei pure laureato, non pensa che le che sta, pensa solo a faticare. O vedi una posta e non ti lamentare, ma come ti si fatta, non pare un papà. Tieni soldi e pure, stai ancora con mamma. No way, tu vuoi scegliere, sta vita che vuoi cantare. Saranno 7-8 anni che non vedi che un'amica, 7-8.000 volte ti girito si vuoi sci, ma tu non dici niente, non fai una faccia fissa, non c'è niente a fare, per te non c'è progresso.
So we were just talking. We were just talking about compilations. I didn't know you guys had compiled music as well as created music, and we were just talking off air about flea markets in Napoli and finding not even rare records. I was talking off air thinking, oh right, you guys have been digging for rare records. It's not. It's just a case of going through a lot, right?
Yeah, a lot of shit.
And these compilations, they were physical releases. It's like the licensing was to press vinyl. Or it was
Yeah. We did everything with licensing.
Yeah, it was a long job, like 1 year, trying to call everybody, like producers, singer, labels, and then at the end, it's funny because the artists are not really famous artists. So somebody's selling vegetables now,
Wow.
or some is dead, of course. So it was nice because in Naples there always a crazy story behind behind the record or of the life of the artist. So it was anyway very interesting.
So even like we remember a story, we don't want to mention the name of the artist, but we remember a story where we really couldn't find the reason why nobody knew about this track. Like even the artists involved in the recording, they were like, no, we don't know anything about it. So at one point, I think Lucio got in touch with this person from Naples, and he said like there was something weird behind this record, like something like Camorra.
You could feel it, right?
You could feel like something like this recording didn't happen just as a normal recording. It happened because it had to happen.
The thing is, all the artists involved behind the credits, they said, no, I didn't collaborate to this record. Especially the trumpet player, there was this name, and it was the only trumpet player in Naples with this name, so it was impossible. Like, he said, no. At some point, I spoke with the audio engineer, and he said, no, but you know what? Nobody got paid from this record because the label was part of Camorra thing. So they closed the label because they had some trouble. They didn't want to pay nobody. They also did some threaten. Like, was a very hard thing, so nobody want to speak about it.
So yeah, this is just one of those stories. Or like I remember a story of a girl that did an album which actually was killed in the car with her boyfriend, like after she sang she released the first album, because probably Virgin.
Wow.
So anyway, so crazy stories, but not only bad ones, also really cool people. We met like Donatella Vigiano, one of the people involved. We basically also like other people called her to sing after 40 years that she never sang in their concert. The name of this band is Fitness Forever, and they're a good friend of ours. They were performing, and we talked with them, and at the end we organized the fact of having her singing. So like it's also cool for these people. They were really, really unknown.
Well, that's it. If like you say, these people were like, they might be selling fruit and vegetables now or whatever, and then somebody like, you guys send a message like, hey, it's almost like a temptation to relaunch their careers and give them like, yo, this music is of quality, like what, carry on and do it again.
This lady, she's still messaging us saying, guys, thank you, because we did this presentation of the compilation in Napoli, in this amazing place near the Palais Royal. What's the name in English? I don't know.
The Royal Palace.
Exactly. And she was this amazing concert, and she was after 40 years on the stage, so she was so happy. People crying, like all the family with like Naples Napolitan family.
Five kids, 7 like daughters or whatever. She was like, everybody is supporting. Anyway, yeah.
So this was put out on your guys on the NG on the label.
Yeah, it was NG and collaboration with Early Sounds Recordings, and we compiled along with Famiglia Disco Cristiana, which is this guy from Naples, and DNA Napoli, which is another guy who really loves Neapolitan music. Probably they know even more than us about it. So it was a pleasure to collaborate with them.
Excellent. And then of course the album, you guys put your own album out as well.
Yeah, it was basically during the same period of time. It was
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was always a conscious decision. You never thought to shop around for labels. You thought, no, this is us. We want to do it yourselves.
Yeah, because like we've been involved in the music business since probably was 2007, and we released on many different labels. And at the end, you notice that the best satisfaction is when you do it on your own label, because you can decide every small thing from start to the end, from graphic, from mastering, from the kind of tracks you want to release, the way you want to distribute them. It's
when you're gonna put the tracks out. So
Mhm.
It's important. You don't have no time. You have to wait like 6 months. You want to release it, you do.
Yeah. And the album smashed it. Like, I've seen how many times it's been repressed, man. It's wicked. It's good news.
That's good.
All right, some more music, please. More of your selections.
Yeah, so basically we want to play this. It's a Nigerian track, which was one of the inspiration for Ddoje Facce. So when we started, Ddoje Facce was like, let's make like a very smooth boogie thing, taking inspiration from Naples, of course, but instead of just, like taking inspiration from Pino Daniele and these people, let's just go somewhere else. So we thought like this very mellow boogie stuff from Nigeria had the right touch, because we love how Nigerian music sounds. In the 80s, Nigerian music was still sounding like the 70s, because probably they still didn't reach the concept of putting like the super big reverb on the snare drum and stuff like that. And we liked it. We liked it a lot.
All right, go for it. I think we're... Yeah.
So basically, what you could hear from that song, like specifically, I think now it's Lucio's turn to say it, is like the chords, like this kind of diminished, how do you say, like diminished chords. We wanted to add these on Ddoje Facce as well, because it gives this kind of more Cuban, weird, obscure
Yeah, I
thing.
think the word that springs to my mind is like eerie, like a little bit.
Yeah. And actually, like I say Cuban because it's true. Like in Nigeria, sometimes they were using like normal funk chords and progressions, but at one point, a few of these artists were like really singing in a completely different way, and this one was more like funk-based in the way of singing, but the progression is different than the usual Nigerian ones and the boogie funk from America. So that is like a bit eerie as well. Like it's interesting to see.
I think these tones and this melody was the thing that stuck out for me from my first listen to the album. I was like, what, where they come from? beautifully eerie. Ddoje Facce, which I've just been told off air, is two faces, like two sides of something, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically maybe the second track we composed, and it's talking about the contrast we have in Naples. But it all started with a jam session, very spontaneous, that has nothing to do with the lyrics. That it was Massimo. It was 2 in the morning. It was Massimo eating a sandwich, and I was trying to do some vocal ideas. Just trying, thinking about Nigerians, because the thing is a bit Nigerian. So I was like, okay, Massimo is eating a panino. So in Italian, in Neapolitan, it's O panine tiella. Because his like funny name is Tiella. So yeah, O panine tiella. Yeah. But then we decided, okay, it's too stupid lyrics. We can't do it. And it was missing something really telling something about Napoli and our hometown. So we decided to take the vocal track. The vocal part from a track we didn't use at the end for the album, and it was melting perfectly. So it's basically 2 songs matching in one. You will never know because it's unreleased. Maybe at some point we're gonna put it. And the thing is, it's talking about all the good and bad things, but in Napoli there's all these people in the car trying to. There's I don't know. Do you say prepotenza? This attitude sometimes of people that wants to go over like not take advantage, but
like if for example you are walking on a street, like if you're a polite person, you would let other person go in front of you like as a gentleman, but in Naples many people they just want to go
a little bit
first,
antagonizing,
harsh,
a little bit rude.
So I need to go first. Let me pass.
Hey, come on, we're in Paris, man. It's the same here.
Yeah, but also super nice things. All the smell of the clothes when you wake up in the morning, ladies singing. So it's either you love it or you hate it.
Well, these are the things until you've left somewhere where you've lived, you don't realize you miss, and then you start thinking about these not stupid things, but quite small things. It's like, wow, I didn't think I'd be missing this. I thought everybody dried clothes everywhere in the world, but then it's like, but in my hometown, it's these things that are.
In fact, I think that one of the reasons when we composed this album is actually because we went away from Naples. Because when you are in a place, you never appreciate the place so much as if you go away from the place. Right. That's something that it would be amazing to not be like this, but it's actually the truth. So when you miss something, then you start really appreciating the small thing of that thing. So
like paninis.
Yeah, everything, like really everything. Like even if we get like a little piece of bread, like the same that we get in Naples, if one day we get it in Berlin, it's like the gold. It's gold. We like
that's the next album. You can write the next album just based on that. Listen, I wanted to ask you guys quickly about the live show and how that came about, because the album's under you guys. Obviously, there's other musicians that are credited on the album, but how has it been? In fact, I remember actually reading something online. I don't know which one of you guys posted it, but I think you'd come back from maybe one of your first rehearsals, and from the social media post, you were buzzing. You were like, "Whoa, I've just come back from a rehearsal." And so was that it sounds like it must have been a pleasurable experience, but difficult as well to pull it all off?
We were super excited. At the beginning, we didn't know. When we released the album, we were still in a struggle. Should we do the band? It's 8 people plus audio engineer. It's 9 of us touring. It's gonna be a mess. Nobody would call us because it's too much. But then we said, okay, let's go in Naples. Let's just rehearse with all the musicians. Let's try to build a group, and we did it with all the musicians that were part of the record as well. Because the thing was, we produced the record in Berlin, just me and Massimo.
Right.
Then we went to Naples and replaced all those like fake drums with real drums, saxophone player, and then we went back to Berlin and we reworked the whole thing. And then with the band, it's like everything, it's alive. Some people think it's a band album, but it's more a kind of post-production collaboration, exactly.
Right.
But then when you go to the live, you really feel the tracks get alive, and that's also nice because sometimes when you see a live, you want to also have something more. Right. And so everybody's improvising. There's a really cool atmosphere.
And like our aim is also to somehow, it's not easy, but we want that during live show you can still feel the same like balance between the sounds, like in the record. Like you would need to see to hear that sound doing that thing, and then alternate it with a bit of improvisation. So it's not just like a completely different thing, and it helps also to make people dance to it, because we want to keep the beat. Like it doesn't have to become like a jazz concert or something like that. It's like a mix between different genres, which it makes it really interesting and actually super exciting to do.
Wicked. So tonight, New Morning. It's
Yeah.
round 2, right?
Yeah,
I heard off
yesterday-
air about round 1.
Yesterday was really good actually. But at one point, what happened? Like basically, we were playing, and all the how do you say, like the energy,
The power.
the power stopped.
Power cut.
What happened? So basically, we understood that somebody put like some, what was the kind of alcohol that person put?
Pastis.
Pastis on one of the
Smelly
the
aniseed,
power sockets.
Sweet, sticky.
So for
Some
like
point.
20 minutes, nothing was going on, and the trumpet, the saxophone player started to interact with the people, because he was basically the only one that could play something, like as a melodic instrument in
acoustically,
acoustic. We did like a Nu Guinea unplugged for like 20 minutes, where he was talking to the people, and they were repeating what he was doing with the saxophone, and we had to go away for like 10 minutes to wait that something would sort out. But then after they understood of the pastis,
Right.
everything was perfect. Everything was great. People really cool. Really nice.
Excellent. And more of the same tonight. I think
Definitely.
is tonight sold out, or was last night sold out? I know one of the shows was sold
This
out.
was the first night was
Both.
today. The first night, like the
No,
the
it
main
was
one was today, and it was sold out. So then they did the one from yesterday, which I think at the end was sold out as well.
Excellent news. So good luck getting tickets out there. You're too late, but anyway, congratulations on the album, guys. Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming
so
by.
Thank
much.
you for inviting us.
I believe you bought one more piece of music that we're going to play out, and
Yeah, that's one of the influences we used for the album. This is a Cuban pianist, Italian, but kind of the best salsa Cuban player of the 70s, and he did this kind of amazing, obscure Cuban Italo funk that was part of our inspiration, and it's called Cabildo.
excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing this. Massimo Lucio, thank you so much for swinging. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much for swinging by. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Won't you take my hand, guide me through these icy escapades? If I stay the same, would you participate in this lonely game of love we play? You know I love it. 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 Sometimes it gets so cold when you are not at home. I wish was bold, but right now I feel like gold. 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 But right now I feel like
So thanks once again to the guests, Nu Guinea. The album is out now, Nuova Napoli, on their own NG recording 001. Been repressed 3 times already. A couple of new bits just after that. We heard music from Sudan Archives and Dexter Story. Just that on the Brook tip. Brand new music from Mark Mack. And keeping on that one, something from Co-op. So I'm going to make this one my final one this afternoon. Forthcoming music from Guts. The album is nearly upon us. He was in the studio only last Thursday with Frank, taking over Worldwide FM. The album Philanthropique, 15th of April. On the subject of Worldwide FM, Thursday you can catch Bertrand Nickel covering for Anders. I'll see you guys in a month's time. Hopefully going to be having Alchemist in the studio with me. We heard his new single at the top of the show, Retainer. Hopefully going to be sitting down and talking with him in a month's time. Until then, look after yourselves. The track listing will be up at neilbopperson.com and also Mellotron.com. See you guys in a month's time. Peace, love, positivity. The Mellotron. Look after yourselves. Ciao.
Story of a bird that wants to tell you its path. ça qui t'est arrivé, là, yo t'es parti avec nous. Yo t'es pour nous, dans bateau pour voyager. Mais nous t'es qu'empé, mélodie dans cœur nous. Listening to the sound of guts. Bash.
Ce sont les PTT ou c'est la télévision?
Ben, le Mellotron.com, là.
C'est amusant.